what's going to run is JDC here. We're talking about why the Brooklyn Nets are going to run it back next year and why I think the roster is good enough to make the finals next year. So what's up? My name is JDC. If you guys like what you see, drop a like and below. We do NBA content here, mostly Houston Rockets, mainly Houston Rockets, but we try sprinkling in some NBA content here and there. It's the off season, nothing too much to talk about here, so kind of just talking about each team, kind of making videos on them, and kind of just growing my content. So if you guys like what you see, drop them below, press the sub button. Really appreciate it. Get into the video. So the Brooklyn Nets, everyone knows they have a big three: KD, James Harden, Kyrie Irving. Obviously, that's a big three. That's their starting three. And then they also got Blake Griffin, and they also got DeAndre Jordan, who honestly I still think he's pretty underrated. Someone that's 33 years old, but still someone that can ball. 8 points per game, 8 rebounds, 2 assists. It's just his defense and his offense is kind of wonky. His rim protection is pretty great. He shot 76% from the field too, which is pretty great. Did average a block a game, but his offense, nothing too much there. I'd rather start Day'Ron Sharpe over him, or play him over Day'Ron Sharpe, or have DeAndre Jordan mentor Day'Ron Sharpe, because they both play pretty similar. But Day'Ron Sharpe, I feel like he's more versatile on the offensive end, especially because he is 6'11", 265 pounds, where DeAndre Jordan is 6'11", Oh, they're the exact same. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, this would be a really good mentorship for Day'Ron Sharpe, because they're both the exact same, player profiles, both 6'11", both 265 pounds. DeAndre Jordan could be a very great mentor for this guy. This could be really good. So, Day'Ron Sharpe. I'll get into the rookies right now. Day'Ron Sharpe, Cam Thomas, two of the Brooklyn Nets rookies this year in the 2021 NBA draft. Day'Ron Sharpe, I definitely feel like he's one of the most underrated prospects in the draft. He did get like 11 points and 8 rebounds in a game in only 11 minutes, which was absolutely great. Now, I will say it is a summer league, so you can't really take away too much from it. But 11 points and 8 rebounds in 11 minutes is pretty impressive enough. So I definitely like Day'Ron Sharpe. I would have liked the Rockets to pick him up over Josh Christopher, but we did get Usman Garuba and Şengün, so the fit wouldn't be too great in Houston. But honestly, I'm fine with Josh Christopher. I'm fine with Day'Ron Sharpe on the Nets. And honestly, I definitely think that DeAndre Jordan could mentor him into a very great big pick and roll player. Maybe like a 10 and 10 guy. I want to say like maybe off the bench. It just really depends on how Day'Ron Sharpe develops. Cam Thomas could definitely take some pointers from Kyrie Irving, maybe James Harden too, because Cam Thomas definitely has the ability to score the ball. He did average 27 points per game in the summer league, was the leading scorer in points per game in the summer league. So taking some pointers from James Harden and Kyrie Irving wouldn't hurt him, and could become very impressive for the Nets off the bench, especially because with the big three being pretty old, Kevin Durant 32, James Harden 31, Kyrie Irving 29. So bringing in Cam Thomas, who could lead the team in the future. So very good steal for the Brooklyn Nets and Cam Thomas. And now, honestly, let's just start talking about their role players and what they acquired this offseason. Starting with starting with Jevon Carter, who they traded a second-round pick for. And Jevon Carter, I definitely feel like he could be a very great player for them, depending on how they play him, because he is a good 3-and-D player. I saw him last season play against the Rockets and some other teams. Could definitely shoot the three. Could definitely play some very great defense. Did average 4 points per game, 2 rebounds, and 1 assist in just 12 minutes in the season. I definitely think Jevon Carter could play off the bench for them, depending on how they play him and Patty Mills. They also got people like Nicholas Claxton, who's still here, which I think he's one of the most underrated players on the team. Nicholas Claxton was actually long for them, especially in the playoffs. Did average 7 points per game, 5 rebounds, 1 assist. He is 22 years old, 6'11", 215 pounds. So I definitely think he's playing over Day'Ron Sharpe because he has more experience. But I don't know. I like Nicholas Claxton. 62% from the field and then 20% from 3. Obviously, is not that good. I definitely like Claxton. I definitely do. I think the Brooklyn Nets definitely got a steal in Claxton. If they can develop him, then he'd be really good. Claxton also is pretty horrible from the free throw line. 48% from the free throw. Absolutely horrendous, but I like his offensive game. I like his defensive game. Very underrated rim protection right there. Overall, a very great big right there. And they also got James Johnson, who is honestly a very underrated pickup for them because he is a good defender for them. I've only saw like a few clips of him playing because he obviously played against the Rockets sometimes, played against other teams. But his defense is pretty okay. 7 points per game, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. I like James Johnson on the Nets, to be honest with you. Really good pickup for them because they really needed defense off the bench. So bringing in James Johnson gives them that defense. He also can shoot the 3 a little bit. Nothing too much, 26% from 3, which isn't all that great, but he is a career 30% shooter from 3, so nothing too great right there. But getting into the next player, we also got Patty Mills here, who is probably the best player that they picked up this offseason. 11 points per game, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, brings in that veteran experience in the playoffs. He is 33 years old, 6'1", 280 pounds. That's their 6th man right there, I believe. I love Patty Mills on the Nets, I really do. Probably fits in with their system very well. Probably better than Javon Carter. So honestly, Patty Mills, one of their best pickups. And honestly, I haven't even talked about the other players. I mean, Bruce Brown, one of their best role players, 9 points per game, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Bruce Brown, definitely one of the best, probably one of the most underrated players alongside Claxton on the team. Good two-way player, someone that can play some offense and defense. His defensive game pretty underrated too. We also got people like Tyler Johnson, Blake Griffin on this team. We also got Reggie Perry, Alize Johnson, who I definitely like Alize Johnson. If he gets the minutes next season, I definitely think he could be a really good player off the bench. The only thing I don't see the Nets, actually, like the downside for the Nets is they have a lot of bigs that are trying to prove themselves because just like looking at their roster, they have Nicholas Claxton off the bench. They got Blake Griffin who's starting. They got Alize Johnson who's off the bench. They got DeAndre Jordan who didn't even play a lick of minute. Actually, he didn't even play at all in the playoffs. It's really bad because they have a lot of bigs. Darren Sharp, like, how are they going to fit all these bigs into one rotation? They're going to have to get rid of some. I've seen some reports that they may get rid of DeAndre Jordan despite his good relationship with the big three. That's just a rumor though. Hopefully they don't get rid of DeAndre Jordan. Good mentorship for Darren Sharp and Alize, hopefully, and maybe Nicholas Claxton, but that's already 4 bigs right there, so an odd man out is probably DeAndre Jordan and maybe I don't want to say Claxton because he's a big part of this roster. It's either Alize Johnson or Darren Sharp that probably gets the axe. And honestly, I don't know, man. I mean, like, this team is definitely good. Joe Harris, I think I'm definitely looking to trade Joe Harris from the GM of the Nets. I'm not too sure who the GM of the Nets are, but I'm looking to trade Joe Harris for someone that's better at the small forward position because Joe Harris didn't really do too much for them in the postseason. Shot not absolutely horrible. Did shoot 40% from 3 in the postseason. Did average 11 points per game. His field goal percentage was 40%, which isn't all that great, but also isn't all that good. In the regular season was way better, shot 48% from the 3 and then 50% from the field. Absolutely amazing in the regular season, but just straight dropped in the postseason. So yeah, like in the last few games against Milwaukee, in game 7, 10 points per game, 10 points, 33% from the 3 and then 30% from the field. The game before that, 9 points, 25% from 3 and then 44% from the field. So if I'm the Nets, I'm definitely looking to trade Joe Harris. Maybe Cam Reddish. Now I think Cam Reddish is definitely a stretch because obviously he's young. Maybe the Hawks don't even want to trade Cam Reddish, but he was on the Summer League roster, which might not mean anything, but if he doesn't play in the Summer League, then how is he supposed to prove himself to the team? I don't know. I think the Hawks might be trading Cam Reddish. So if I'm the Nets, I'm definitely looking to get Cam Reddish to fill in that small forward position. Someone that can play defense, someone that can play some offense, good two-way player, but definitely fit in the roster. Maybe adding in Joe Harris and maybe someone off the bench, Alize, whoever you want. I'm just looking to get rid of Joe Harris and get a better small forward because he hasn't been too good in the playoffs. So overall, I think this team is very great. I definitely think the Nets are definitely making the NBA Finals. Not definitely because obviously nothing's guaranteed in this league, but they're my favorite to make the finals, and honestly, they're my favorite to win the chip. So hopefully we get to see a good finals this next season because no one expected the finals of the Bucks and the Suns. So hopefully it's a Nets and the Lakers finals, and hopefully the Nets finally win the chip. Hopefully James Harden wins this chip. Rooting for James Harden, man. One of my favorite players, my favorite player of all time. Just sucks that he left Houston, but hopefully he gets his ring in Brooklyn and go Nets. So that's JDC. I'm JDC and I'm signing out here, and peace.